one of the things that keeps me awake at night is what happens if we're no longer seen as attractive. You know, if all of a sudden people go, we'll move on to the next thing, and that worries me.
Point. Yeah, like that is something, because it's like it's almost having so much success so quick. It's like, yeah, there's actually a price to that.
It's a burden.
People don't think it's a massive burden.
It is, and you know, even like 6-8 months ago, we thought, when's it going to die off? When are people going to stop coming? And how do we deal with that if we either flatten off or go into any kind of decline? Because obviously you've got investment in staff, in suppliers, equipment, all the stuff, you know. And, you know, you want to have contingency for stuff. And, you know, even stuff like you wake up at night and you go, what are the things that could really fucking screw us up, you know? What happens if it burns down, or there's a terrorist attack, or somebody clears out the bank account, or, you know, there's a pandemic, or what are all the things, the crises that we might have to manage? And, you know, we've actually spent time looking at all those. And
what are some of those in terms of keeping this place attractive?
I think that's a bit of a more esoteric question, and we just have to hope that it is. But I think it comes back to what we discussed earlier on. If we are always constantly looking at the edges and trying to tweak and make the incrementals better, you know, work on the consistency of the offer and make sure that the guest's experience is always improving, then fingers crossed we should be okay. But I could be wrong. I don't know. We can only do our best.
Yeah, no, that's in terms. I think it's another Rory Sutherland thing. He talks about the edges where no one really focuses.
Yeah, they're the most important bits, by the way, when you add them all up.
Yeah. What are some of those sort of peripheral edges things? I think it is everyone's in the middle, right? I think with everything, and that's why you get kind of I think we talked about it last time, the homogenization of pubs. Is everyone's looking here, but actually all the interesting bits are almost like the burnt crust. Do you know what I mean? That's where it gets really interesting or nuanced. Like, what would you say those are? Don't know.
It's a million things. Things like, you know, making sure the doors don't squeak, making sure the painting's kept is kept up to date, and that things aren't chipped when you look at them closely. You know, making sure you've got enough glassware in the place for when you get really busy. There's nothing worse than going into a pub, right? When it's really, really busy and you ask for a pint which is £8 or £6, and they give it to you in a shitty little plastic glass, and you go, why am I having plastic? Oh, we're a bit busy, mate.
Yeah, that is.
You know, and that would kill me to do that.
So
you know, things like that. So the corollary to that is I've got 1,000 pint glasses hidden, washed, ready. So when it really goes off, that we can actually fill the shelves and nobody ever drinks out of a plastic glass. You know, it's little bits like that you wouldn't necessarily think about. And other businesses would go, oh, we don't have enough glasses. So there you go, there's a shit plastic glass. At exactly the time you're at your most busy, when you've got the opportunity to really impress people.
It's all those, as you say, it's all those 1% little things that add up. How does your brain, because I feel like, how does your brain sort of cope with that constant thinking of like the downside? Does that impact your enjoyment of this place? Or how do you balance those two things?
I don't think it does. I think it's, I always
hold them at the same time.
I hold it, yeah. And it's the job. And I've done it for that long that I've kind of got a bit of balance on it. And I'm able to pull away, thankfully. But another one I've been thinking about as well recently is, you know, it gets very, very busy. The toilets downstairs get really, really busy. There's a couple of times during the day, like about 6 o'clock in the evening before the theatres start, and then when the theatres finish again at 10:30, when everybody piles into the toilet. So we have to think about how do we close that bottleneck, and how do we keep it so that if somebody's going from the restaurant down there, that it doesn't look like it's blown up down there and it's full of toilet roll and people have thrown all this stuff all over the place. There's no soap and, you know, it's war all over. So we've got, you know, we've dealt with that by putting a full-time person on there just to make sure it's right all the time. And those little things do make a tiny difference, I think.
And then on the enjoyment part, like how do you, and I think it comes from experience. You said in terms of the negative, no, it's not negative bias, it's that constant improvement thing.
Yeah.
which is, as you say, it's almost so just baked into your modus operandi of like constantly looking at how can we improve things, what could be going wrong. On the other side of that, how do you create the almost switch off of that? And I'm asking that selfishly because at the minute with everything I'm doing, I'm constantly looking at like that needs to improve, that needs to improve, and it sort of takes away from the enjoyment of it sometimes.
I don't think it does. I think when you look at something that is either a tiny problem or a big problem, and you realize what that is, and then you make a strategy to fix it, and then you fix it. There's something really quite cathartic about that anyway, and it's way better than leaving it, obviously. Because that's where you get screwed if there's something that's niggling you in the background that's always there that you don't deal with. And I think I've learned over a long time that I try and deal with them straight away. As soon as I see it, I'm on it. I have to be. Because the flip side of that would drive me bananas if I wasn't able to do it.
Yes. Espressos is sponsored by supply chain software gurus Unleashed. It talks to your e-com and accounting software. It's helped islands cut admin time in half, get granular clarity on your margins, know where your stock is, don't miss availability. Brands like Candy Kittens, Tiny Rebel and Trip all use Unleashed, and so should you.